to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with
Justin DeClue
and Colin Cunningham.
And today we're going back to superhero movies. It's been so long, right? I think since maybe X3.
Oh, and that was one that you loved, and I'm hoping
it's true.
April may come with a other opinion on this one, that she loves this one as well.
Yeah, so this was my pick, and Green Lantern from 2011. I didn't love this movie. And I don't want to say I wanted to love it, but I was always intrigued by it because it was like such a massive failure.
Yeah.
Everyone hated it.
Hey, it got my box office dollars when it came out, and I saw it in IMAX 3D.
Oh my God!
What about you, Colin?
I rented it when it came out.
Oh, okay.
Not at the. I had no interest in it. It just didn't look good to me. The trailer looked kind of shitty.
Justin, were you a Green Lantern fan?
Not really. I know of Green Lantern. My Green Lantern was a guy named, was it Kyle something? And that his comic book in the 90s was famous for creating the term fridging of women.
That's right.
Well, I know about that.
Yeah, because his girlfriend was killed by a villain, cut up into pieces and put into his fridge. So that's where the term comes from.
Interesting.
I think Gail Simone created it, another comic book artist, a writer.
Yeah, I never knew anything about Green Lantern until I saw this movie, I think. I knew he had a power ring and a lantern.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really know much about the character. He was in like the Justice League, like Super Friends, right?
I never watched Super Friends. That's before me and April's time. But
okay.
But I didn't realize that this was DC. I thought it was Marvel, which makes no sense.
No, Green Lantern wasn't in the Super Friends because I think Green Lantern as a character, he can technically do anything, and they want to avoid that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's kind of crazy about the Green Lantern, which I think is kind of a neat idea. You can get really creative with it, and they don't.
No.
It reminds me of the Neverending Story sequel where it's like you can wish for anything, and he wishes for like a spray can to like spray like the monster's eyes. It's like, you could make them explode, right? But
it's all just like the dumbest visions that he has.
But it is kind of neat that it's like I get to see renderings of different things instead of him just having like light powers that shoots at people. Like seemingly every superhero
I'd
these
much
days
prefer
has.
that to like just a green beam or something.
We're looking at you, Miss Marvel, the TV show.
Oh God. Well, I remember the only thing I remember about Green Lantern is when I was young. It's like me and my cousin would talk, and he's like, if you could be any superhero, who would you be? And I was, you like Superman or whatever. He's like, I'd be Green Lantern because I could just make kryptonite and kill Superman.
No, that's not how Green Lantern works.
I'm like, okay.
I didn't think so. Well, the Green Lanterns are space cops.
Yeah.
And there's like
as we're told in this very long opening.
Yeah, this opening like narration
that was not added at the last minute in a panic. We swear.
Apparently, Jeffrey Rush, who shows up later as an alien,
coming off his Pirates of Caribbean fame, I'm sure, getting this role.
Yeah. I love Jeffrey Rush. I always have, and
he's great.
He's actually okay in this. I mean, his voice is okay in this. He's not actually in it.
He's got a terrific voice.
He does, and he should do more. Like I was like, is that Anthony Hopkins? Like he should do more narration like that.
Zack Snyder's space opera is Anthony Hopkins playing the robot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the name of the movie, which is why
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. There we go.
Last week.
I know.
It's already
you
left.
Can't
your
remember
brain.
the movie or the robot.
The robot had.
I remember the robot, like Jimmy the Robot or whatever his name was.
Oh, is that his name?
No, I think it had a cooler name than Jimmy. But
Tell your friends to ask for Jimmy.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm looking here. Nope. Robot Jimmy. That's his name.
Wow, you were actually right.
I listened to it for the Flophouse and they did it, so that's why I remembered it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
So Green Lantern is Ryan Reynolds, who, man...
We love Ryan Reynolds, right? Let's take this moment to advertise for Mint Mobile. The Mint Mobile is a new... Shut up!
We've covered a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies, I feel like, on
he's
this
bad.
podcast.
That's why.
On the Patreon, maybe on a regular episode, I'm not sure. Like, we did Free Guy, we did whatever the fuck that sci-fi movie was that I can't...
at Project Adam?
Yes.
Or Adam Project?
I kept wanting to say the Cloverfield
Did
Paradox,
we do that
one?
I don't know if I've seen all of that. Okay.
We did the Adam Project.
I think we did, yeah. I think it was on a Patreon.
That movie is wild because it's so bad.
But we'll never talk about April's favorite movie, The Nine, right, April?
The Nines. I did like The Nines.
What the hell's that?
Okay, so we've talked about this I was a Ryan Reynolds fan before he became everywhere. I watched him on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Oh.
He's also Canadian. And so he was on sitcoms, and then he was doing like Canadian movies, which I believe The Nines is.
No, it's a Hollywood movie because it was directed by John August, who's like a screenwriter that has kind of been forgotten. He wrote like Tim Burton's Willy Wonka. He also did Charlie's Angels 1 and 2. He did Aladdin,
I used to love those
Frankenweenie,
movies.
Dark Shadows. Yeah.
So The Nines, that's probably a movie going back to, I'll be like, oh, this isn't very good. But at the time, I think Octavia Spencer was in it.
What is it?
No, you're thinking of Melissa McCarthy is in it.
No, I think Octavia Spencer
Oh, is she in it too?
Anyway.
Yep, she is. You're right.
So what it is it's like a movie split into 3, and it's like 3 different stories where the same actors are in it, but they play different characters. I can't remember
So
what
it's like Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, but much worse. I can't remember the first story is, but the second story, he's like a screenwriter, and it's kind of, they're all shot in different styles. It's like shot like cinema verite. And then the third story is like the movie he was screenwriting. It's very, very arty.
Can you imagine that like you're sitting in a mansion and you look at your filmography and it's the Guy Ritchie Aladdin, the stop motion Frankenweenie, Dark Shadows, The Nines, Corpse Bride, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Titan AE.
Oh, Jesus
boy.
Christ.
Oh, and also Go. People
Which
like
I've
Go.
never seen. I've never seen, but everyone seemed to love Go.
Yeah.
He wrote that?
Yeah, he did.
God,
That's
who
it.
directed that? Doug Liman.
Yeah, Doug Liman did Go. Yeah.
He was coming off of Swingers.
Doug
at the time,
Liman,
I think.
supposedly the most can't make a decision director to ever work in Hollywood.
Yeah, he has like a nightmarish reputation.
Yes.
So
And-
was the Green Lantern the first superhero movie that Ryan Reynolds did? Like, was this before Wolverine Origins?
Yes.
When did
Was
Wolverine
it?
Origins come out? No, I think this was after
This is
Wolverine
after.
Origins. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. 2009 was Wolverine Origins.
Oh, wow.
Wolverine Oranges. Too much citrus.
I can't believe this movie was 2011.
Yeah.
Why?
This-
Because it looks so bad?
It
or-
feels like such an early 2000s movie.
Well,
Feels and looks
This
like
was the awkward period, the other awkward period for superhero movies, because Iron Man was 2009 and it did so good.
Would you
And-
believe that this came out after Iron Man, other than the fact that structurally it's trying to rip it off at every turn and making every bad decision?
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of movies were trying really hard to be Iron Man. This movie reminded me a lot of another superhero movie I hated called Hancock that came out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or under
That-
its original title, Tonight He Comes.
Yeah.
Hey, ayo. But yeah, that movie just got everything wrong, tone-wise, look-wise.
Oh,
the way it
Hancock
was
came
shot.
out a year before Iron Man.
What?
Holy shit.
I could have
Yep.
sworn it was after Iron Man.
Wow.
Well, I'm wrong. I'm wrong then.
So Iron Man ripped off Hancock. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's
No.
right.
Is Hancock DC?
I don't
Nope.
know. It's-
Hancock was its own original thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not based on a comic.
I don't think so. No.
Shit.
So this.
If it was a comic, it's like an indie one.
This is like studios keep trying to make Ryan Reynolds a thing, and I
Well, they have.
They didn't.
He is now.
They didn't do it until
with
Deadpool.
Deadpool, and that's pretty much it. Like he can't. Can he open a movie? I don't know.
He was in that
Hitman's
Christmas
Bodyguard was successful.
Was it?
Yeah, and we all watch Red Notice, right?
That's
We
something.
love
That's
Red
another one we
Notice.
covered
Oh
on
yeah,
the
we
podcast.
covered it. It's like so forgettable.
It's been watched by billion minutes. Is there any more successful film than that?
But the thing, he's the same character in every movie. And earlier in his career, The Nines, Buried, he was at least. Well, okay, actually, he wasn't really different characters. It was just, am I funny or am I not funny? He never plays like, well, he's not a character actor, right?
No.
And that he doesn't have to be.
Or a good one. I mean, it's just if his default personality was just anything less obnoxious.
Yeah, he's
you know what
either
I mean?
obnoxious, jerk, or goofy. Like
The
he
thing
is
about
in
Ryan
Free
Reynolds
Guy.
is he should be playing the jerk boyfriend in a romantic comedy. That's the
Yeah.
role he was born to play.
Yeah.
No, and he did rom-coms where he was the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
not-
were
not
you
the
Van
jerk.
Wilder pilled, April?
Yeah, we talked about this last week. I thought Van Wilder was very funny at the time.
But in this movie, he's like they don't know which way to go. He's like kind of is that Ryan Reynolds character, but just muted, like dialed way, way, way down. So, and because he can't really act, it's just a flat. He comes off as just so flat and bland.
Yeah, and I mean, Deadpool works because it's pushed to the extreme that you're kind of like, it's a part he was born to play, you know? But anything else is just like, yeah, he just comes off like a jerk. I used to think he was charming on Two Guys and a Girl. Maybe I should try and find an episode and go back and watch it. I have no idea.
Well, that's on
I mean,
you.
he's no Nathan Fillion, who's also on that show.
Oh,
but it's
boy.
not one of the two guys. Don't get confused.
He's not one of the two guys.
Who's the other guy?
Some character actor. I don't remember his name.
And also starring in this movie, this is probably the only movie I've seen her in, Blake Lively.
No, didn't you see the one where she's stranded on a rock?
The Shallows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
I didn't see that, but I've seen her in a few things.
Ryan Reynolds played the shark in that movie.
That wisecracking shark.
I don't think Blake Lively is that great an actress.
It was a real shark's tale. Oh, I got a movie to watch for this.
Oh, no, not Shark Tale.
You guys didn't see A Simple Favor? She was very good in that.
Nope.
No, but yeah, I heard good things about that movie too. So I think I just haven't seen her in a lot, but she's not like a hugely successful actor. I think maybe she. I mean, she was in like a million episodes of that Gossip Girl TV show.
She's
Cafe
stuff,
Society, the Woody Allen movie.
Oh, boy.
But I think that this sounds bitchy, but I think that she kind of gets by on her looks. But I don't think she's bad in this.
Oh, man, it's been a while since April started railing against a conventionally
internalized
pretty
misogyny.
actor.
She is very pretty. I do think she looks a little too young in this to be the character she is, but I didn't think that her performance like stunk.
No. I don't. I think
she's fine.
I don't think anybody's bad in this.
Wait,
just,
April. Blake Lively's in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Have you seen that?
I have, and she's okay.
Okay.
Okay, now we have to talk about age because Peter Sarsgaard is also in this movie playing Hector Hammond.
And he's not
Hector Hammond.
one of the Sarsgaards that you think.
Yeah.
He's not related to that family.
He's a Sarsgaard, not a Skarsgård.
That's right.
Sarsgaard, not Skarsgård. Everybody remember it.
Okay, we got it. So Ryan
So
Reynolds.
his father and brother, they're actors too, right?
Oh,
I think they actually are more
shit.
Sarsgaard.
no way.
Are there?
No. Anyway, we'll never get to the bottom of this.
In the movie, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Peter Sarsgaard apparently grew up together as kids. They're supposed to all be the same age, and they all went to school together.
Which is widely inaccurate.
Which is so insane because, I mean, Peter Sarsgaard in this movie looks older than Tim Robbins, which is like his dad.
You're not
wait.
wrong.
How? What do you think the difference in age is?
No, I looked it up last night, so I know.
Oh, did you?
Colin, do you know?
I think like Blake Lively's in her 20s in this movie.
She was 24, the actor, and so age-wise, Ryan Reynolds was 11 years older than her, I think, and then Peter Sarsgaard is like 4 years older than that. So
Is Peter Sarsgaard the one having the most fun in this movie, though?
Is anybody having fun?
I mean,
I'm gonna say yes. I mean, maybe.
now the thing that excited me the most about this film, though, was that it was directed by Martin Casino Royale Campbell.
I cannot believe this.
I mean,
I cannot believe it. He's so good. Like, he's so good at action.
I mean, Casino Royale, my favorite
Probably
of the
the
new
best
Bonds.
Bond film of all time.
but the thing about Mark Campbell is like, oh, he's very good at like grounded, kind of stripped down movies.
Yes.
It's like, let's give him this big CGI spectacle, and he's just lost in it.
Yeah, I can only blame it on that because even the Zorro film, Mask of Zorro, phenomenal action scenes, like so well shot and edited and paced. That's what he's so good at. And you just give him this, and it's just a bunch of people standing on green screen.
Yeah, it's dog poo poo.
Like literally, it's like you can't do anything.
And I know now we're like used to that, but at the time it was like not.
Yeah, I hope that
done
the
as much.
future of cinema won't be this.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's true, but like, yeah, they went so far in this, especially when he leaves Earth, where it's just nothing is concretely there, except for apparently Mark Strong's makeup.
Okay, well, let's start this movie with a big introduction, and then we get some people on a planet get attacked by a poop cloud. It doesn't matter.
Name's Parallax.
Yeah.
Parallax.
And I have to say, yeah, it is a big kind of poop fart cloud or something with tendrils. But it's like nothing in this movie, and I don't like to, pile on like VFX artists and stuff, but like nothing in this movie looks real at all. Like the aliens, everything looks like a cartoon.
I don't think the design is bad.
Yeah, I kind of like how they make the aliens look really weird.
I like the design choices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but structurally, this movie is such a mess, and his mask. Oh man!
Oh my god!
Let's talk about the suit, Colin. Apparently, it's all CG.
It is all CG.
Oh, what? I thought it was practical.
Why?
It's such a bizarre decision.
The choice was
why? Why?
You could just have him wear a Zorro mask
And suit.
stick it to his face.
I just don't get it. Like
he could wear a suit. He's jacked. It's not like they're making him a fake body, you know?
Yeah, it's just so weird. Not only like the cost that it adds to the movie and just like the complications in like shooting it, but just like how lame it looks. And
Yeah, I mean, now all the stuff is done with CGI. Any superhero costume.
well,
but not
a lot of it,
not
yeah.
100% of the time.
Black Panther.
I know, but was there not an actual practical suit there?
There
Was, but they redid it all in like Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, but now it looks flawless. There's stuff in like Avengers Endgame where they're all wearing those time travel suits that were all CG. It looks flawless. You never know.
That's so funny because it's like you guys couldn't build the suits for the movie.
It's just
like,
you know what it comes down to? It's like they don't want to decide on the design.
that is insane.
That's
Yeah,
all
I
it
know.
is. And it's Marvel. It's like
You got your bingo cards out, folks.
we're not
for
gonna
us saying
we're not gonna
that?
pick our design until the last possible minute. So we don't want to build something on set and like spend money on it because we know we're gonna change it in post in CG anyway.
Do you think maybe that was the mindset for Green Lantern?
No,
Yeah.
no. This was DC, and it was the director was saying is because he wanted like this constant kind of pulsing of energy through it, like it was like flowing through kind of muscles.
And make it look glowy?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
kind of like would flex and react in a way that you couldn't with a practical suit, but I
Alright,
don't
alright.
think it's worth it in the end.
No.
for
But
what you
the
get.
film itself seems to have been tinkered a lot in post-production.
Oh yeah, big
Like
time.
there's huge chunks that seem to be missing or moved around.
Yes.
Yeah, because especially like the introduction of Peter Sarsgaard character, I was like, oh, did I miss 2 scenes? Because I don't know who they try and like we're automatically introduced to him, like reading a newspaper headline that has like Blake Lively on it, and he like looks at it, and we have no idea who this man is, and he is immediately sent to look after the dying Tamora Morrison.
Well,
by
apparently,
the way.
there was an extended cut or director's
Yeah, I
cut.
watched that version. There's
you
not
did?
that much in it. Yeah.
But there's like a whole intro with them as kids or something. Growing
Yeah,
up.
where's their kids? There's more before the very funny scene where young Ryan Reynolds runs to his dad coming out of a plane before the plane explodes.
That's in the movie, and we were laughing.
It's in the movie as flashbacks, and it is so
I'm gonna
funny.
be completely fine.
yeah.
Keep my jacket warm for me.
Yeah, so in the theatrical cut, he has those flashbacks while he's flying a plane into the atmosphere, which just reminded me of a much better movie, Stealth, which we need to cover on this podcast.
That movie's terrible. April.
It's hilarious.
Hey, she said a much better movie.
It's got that Rob Cohen stink on it that even though it should be fun, it's just a slog to get through.
I remember liking it. But
Even though it has such amazing lines as, oh my God, it's downloading songs from the internet. Which ones? All of them.
And then it just plays new metal. Maybe that's why I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why
exactly
you love
why
that
I love
movie, because it's
It's a
just
lot of-
endless new
A
metal.
lot of Incubus.
So yeah,
In the 2-hour documentary on the DVD of Stealth, which I've watched, Rob Cohen's like, we need a sound that, no one has ever heard before, and it's just new metal.
no, it's like metal but newer.
Exactly. And
We could spell new with a U. So yeah, we get this. They uncover this fart poop thing, parallax in the middle of a moon or something, and then it's unleashed. Tamora Morrison shows up here. He's another 2-time. We were talking about people who have showed up in multiple superhero movies.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of them in here.
He's in this, and
I'd be curious to
Aquaman?
know. Aquaman he's in. To know who are the actors we've talked the most about on No Such Thing as a Bad Movie.
I'm gonna say Ryan Reynolds, because as far as
Ryan
like
Reynolds.
the movies that we've covered,
What about
I
Gerard
think
Butler?
this is the 4th.
Probably Nick Cage.
Maybe Nick Cage, Gerard Butler. Like as far as like that's in movies like that we have covered.
Jerry B.
Yeah,
He's like the patron saint of
we've
our
done
podcast.
we've done a few Jerry B's. That's for sure.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
we haven't had
also-
Jerry B on here in a long time.
Well, Jim Belushi also comes up like
Oh,
every
Jim
episode,
Belushi,
but we
yeah.
haven't done a lot of movies he's in.
Yeah, this is true.
But he comes up.
Comes up
as he does, as he should.
So we get, what was it, like Timur Morrison in makeup. He's fighting Parallax.
Is he purple or red?
He's like purple,
He's
reddish.
purple.
He's purple.
Yeah, it kind of changes.
Right. I was like, oh, he looks like Thanos.
Yeah, he kind of does. He gets ejected. He like crash lands on Earth, and then we're introduced to Ryan Reynolds. He's a cocky pilot.
I was like, is this Top Gun?
It's kind of like
Is this
stealth.
Iron Man?
It's more like stealth because they have robot planes.
Yeah, so he's late. He wakes
Yeah, Iron
up.
Man too. Yeah.
He's just bedded some lady, and then he's like, driving his
Let
car.
yourself out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he lays up. There's water in the tap. Boo.
That's also exactly like a scene from Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, he makes it. What is he? He like works for some company. He's like a pilot, a test pilot, and him and Blake Lively are flying, and a third person. So they're fighting like these AI jets or something like that.
Isn't Blake Lively like the daughter of the guy who owns this company,
Yes.
or it's like a naval base or something?
It's like an
Not
aviation
naval base,
firm or
but
something
yeah,
like that.
which makes sense, like for like why this young woman is in such a position of
Young.
authority.
She's the same age as Ryan Reynolds and Peter Sarsgaard.
She's the daughter of the guy who owns it. She's a military brat. Okay, I can buy
Oh,
it.
Tim Robbins chewing it up in this film.
Oh yeah.
I wish he was in it more.
I
Every
wish he was.
time I say Tim Robbins, I want to say Tim Robinson. And I was like, I wish Tim Robinson was in this film.
I keep thinking you guys are going to say Tim Roth, and I'm like, he's not in this movie, is he?
Oh, he's in She-Hulk though. Never forget he came back to play his character
That's
from The Incredible Hulk.
Abomination.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, how could we forget?
So we forget.
The movie you worked
We can't
on.
forget what we don't know.
Well, I didn't work on it. Colin did.
Oh, I did.
He's in the movie. He plays the Abomination.
I do. I was his stand-in. I'm also a very, very short man. So yeah.
Wait, is Tim Roth a very short man?
Oh yeah.
Remember Planet of the Apes?
Yeah. He's teeny
Did
tiny.
you guys see that interview going around of Paul
Giamatti?
Giamatti being
Yeah.
like, I loved being in Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, it's great. He did it on his GQ where they kind of do one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did it with the actors round table. And then they were almost trying to like shame him, like
Yeah.
embarrass him. And he
Like,
just,
oh, you had to
he
play
was
an
so,
orangutan.
like, he just loved playing that. Like,
And you could-
I
orangutan.
recently
You could tell.
just heard on Twitter that Paul Giamatti has a podcast called The Chinwag.
Yeah, what the hell?
I just heard about that too, and I should probably check it out.
And he's like explaining to Tom Hanks the time travel episode of Deep Space Nine, The Visitor.
This is
That was a great
insane.
episode. That's a
This
classic.
is crazy. I have to start listening to this now.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti sounds like a very fun guy. He loves talking about aliens and Sasquatches and stuff
Wow.
like that. Yeah.
I know
He's
this
got a great speaking voice
This
too.
is slightly off topic, but do you think he could win an Oscar this year? Or
Yes.
I think he's going to lose to Cillian Murphy for
Yeah.
Oppie, but he'll definitely be
Cillian Murphy,
nominated.
though, no. The issue with that is going to be that people are going to give it to Robert Downey Jr.
And then
do
maybe
you
they
think-
wont give it to both Robert Downey and Cillian. You're right. That doesn't
Yes.
happen too often to
Look
have
at it.
two people win.
But then
for-
again, the argument would be in the holdovers that Davine Joy
Well,
Randolph
yeah.
is going to get the award.
I think that
so they may not
It's true. So
give it to Paul.
Yeah.
Has
I
Paul
guess
ever won an Oscar?
No.
Oh, that's surprising.
He
I
didn't
don't
even get
think he's
nominated
been-
for Sideways.
Yeah, I don't.
For Shoot 'Em Up.
I don't know if he's been. I think maybe he was nominated maybe for like Cinderella Man or something. I'm not sure. I never saw it, but I think he was a supporting. I could be talking out of my ass, but I'm sure he will get nominated and he'll get to go to the Oscars. So that's nice. But
Yeah.
he should win for the holdovers. That's my
He's
opinion.
terrific,
He was
yeah,
my
he's-
that. I don't think that Cillian Murphy was bad. I thought he was great. But as far as who I preferred, I would prefer Giamatti's.
Yeah, I prefer
performance.
Paul Giamatti to win an Oscar too. That's who I'll be cheering for. We'll see. It'll be like a split. He'll win a bunch of awards at other ceremonies that nobody cares about,
Yeah,
but they have
like
big
the
dinners
SAG
for.
Awards and,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
he already
yeah.
did win a Golden Globe.
Oh, he did win. Who won for Best Dramatic Performance?
I think Cillian
he-
Murphy.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
a
so
split
he won like
between them.
the comedy movie.
And then Giamatti went to In-N-Out. There's that
Yeah, that's
picture
right.
of him
With
eating
his,
it.
So that's the thing that like people do when they win awards. They go to In-N-Out.
I don't know.
I think it.
Yeah.
Well, he did it. It's
Yeah.
kind of just like his character in Sideways, where he drinks a
That's right,
special
yeah.
wine and eats it with a burger. Okay.
And he's dating the dominatrix that abused him in the TV show Billions.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I haven't seen Billions, so
Nah, it doesn't seem like a show for me. I'm glad Paul Giamatti's having fun with it, I guess. Paul Giamatti's been such on the downslope, too, because he was in, like, Jungle Cruise, and he was like, they didn't let me do what I wanted to do.
like I didn't even know he was in
that's
that.
sad.
Neither did
Yeah.
I.
So getting back to this, do you think Ryan Reynolds will win an Oscar?
He's won the Oscar of life. He's like a billionaire now after selling
Or
that.
MTV Movie Awards? What is enough for Ryan Reynolds? Because he's in like a rock-like place, right? People don't seem to like him very much anymore.
I just don't. He doesn't care. He's got his Mint Mobile. He just sold that.
He has his football team.
He bought a football team.
He's got his aviation gin. He bought his football team because he made hundreds and hundreds of millions selling Mint Mobile. So
does he not own Mint Mobile anymore?
No, he sold it.
He's still but he's advertising for it still.
Well, you probably stay on as like the spokesman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he sold it just to make $1 billion.
When you sell your company, I think there's like a clause where they kind of keep you on for like an extra like 5 years or something. Whatever.
Did you guys hear that The Rock is like, I'm gonna make real movies now, please?
Fuck off.
He hasn't made a
he's
real
doing a
movie
Safdie
since
Brothers film.
Oh my god.
Oh, but
His next one's a Safdie Brothers.
Safdie brother.
Yeah, they broke up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like when the Coens split off. They did like
Well, at least the Coens had a longer run than like a couple movies.
3 movies.
Like
Yeah, they're 3 movies. What's happening in the world of Green Lantern right now?
They're fighting the AI jets. Ryan Reynolds
crashes. So in the comic, he finds the alien in the desert.
Oh,
during he crashes his plane, that he finds it, which makes a lot of sense.
No, in this, the ring found him because of this stunt he pulls, a Maverick-esque stunt.
Yeah, but it doesn't really find him because 20 minutes pass and then he's walking down the street and he's like, whoa!
No, you're right. He also just happens upon the crash landing.
Well, he doesn't happen upon. It teleports him to it.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Okay.
because Tamora Morrison is dying in his spacecraft, and then he looks at his ring and he's like, choose well, and then this big blob flies out of his ring and goes to find Ryan Reynolds or something.
Yeah, it's bad. That's not good. The accidental stuff of the comic is much more compelling than him being teleported there, which is a big problem with this movie of Ryan Reynolds constantly being teleported to new locations.
Yeah, he has no agency of his own really, but it's Tamora Morrison crashes. It seems like on a you don't see people there, but there's buildings
like a
and
dock.
stuff.
It's like a fisherman's wharf.
Yeah, it's not in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, if he did just happen to find him, that would be a little more interesting for the Hal Jordan character, because it would be like, well, am I really worthy of this? Because I really wasn't chosen.
That's the whole point.
And this is I was chosen, so I have to live up to the spirit of the lantern because it chose me.
Yeah.
That would make way more sense than him being it forced upon him.
Well, it's a chosen one narrative that we've seen a million times.
So the movie gets really bad. I'm going to say really bad now. Convoluted, because at this point he gets the ring, he tries to use it, and then we get introduced to Peter Sarsgaard, who has a parallel narrative with what's going on with Hal Jordan.
Yeah. So apparently, Parallax, which is the bad guy, there was a little piece of it in Tamora Morrison's heart, and it flies out.
No, he gets pricked. So
he gets pricked. Okay.
Yeah. So Amanda Waller.
Yeah, his penis just penetrates.
Yes.
Amanda Waller is in this movie.
So
it's not Amanda Waller. She plays a different character called Amanda Knox, I think.
No, she's Amanda Waller.
They said Amanda Waller in the movie.
Did they say Amanda Waller?
Yeah, she was
she gets killed in this movie.
Well,
it's not canon.
You don't see her body.
She comes back in Suicide
I'm pretty
Squad.
sure she says Dr. Amanda Waller.
Played by Angela Bassett, who would later be in
I heard Amanda and I went, oh, they said a different name.
No,
they said Waller because we
Waller.
both were like, oh my God, Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we didn't even see the first Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, so there you go. So she wakes...
We're Johnny come lately.
She wakes him up. I guess she's a scientist. He's a scientist. They're in this secret lab where they've got Tamora Morrison's crashed spaceship and his corpse. Peter Sarsgaard's investigating the corpse, and he pricks his finger. He's investigating this yellow residue on Tamora Morrison, and then he gets kind of infected by Parallax, which has hilarious results.
Gives him a big testicle head.
Well, the thing is, then why didn't
Speaking
they just...
of making decisions.
Oh my
Why
God.
did they just give Peter Sarsgaard a regular haircut? They have to make him horrifically bald with a mullet.
The movie, he's in a wheelchair, he can barely move.
His head is—he's like the gigantism Ken Griffey Jr. from Simpsons.
He looks they make him look like the Elephant Man.
He does. Yeah.
So it's basically like a jock beating up on a nerd by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So true. And I know they really try and pile on, this term wasn't around back then, that he's an incel, because he like sniffs Blake Lively's hair. He's like got pictures of her around his apartment. He's like, I wanted you from the moment I met you, which is really sick if you consider they met when they were kids. But I guess that's they're really trying to play into making you hate him.
Yeah.
And
you kind of just feel bad
they're
for him.
piling on it. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
He's just such a sad, pathetic loser.
I felt bad for him a little bit.
Especially, yeah. It's like when he's around Tim Robbins, it's hilarious. This is like father and son. And like Tim Robbins, if you
Peter
just,
Sarsgaard looks like 30 years older than Tim Robbins.
it's like if you just dyed Tim Robbins' hair, he would look like 10 years
thing,
younger.
Sarsgaard has for him is a very effeminate voice.
Yeah, but he's like a foot and a half shorter. He's got this like
he's also like crouched
receding hairline with like this gigantic mullet and like this creeper mustache.
I hope my head doesn't grow 10 times the size because my mullet's gonna look terrible.
And it does.
We've got some really like skeezy mustaches in this movie. Sinestro, who we're introduced to
I don't
later.
like his mustache.
He's got the creepy perv mustache.
Because Ryan Reynolds can't get that Green Lantern ring activated for 40 minutes until at a bar he seemingly brutally murders 3 men.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned our friend Taika Waititi is in.
He's not our friend.
Sorry, Hal Jordan's friend.
He's not our friend.
I had completely forgotten because I didn't know who the hell he was at this point. So
well, I think this is the first time many audiences would have seen him.
Was he coming off of What We Do in the Shadows?
No, that's way later.
Isn't it?
Well, maybe not way later, but I think that was like 2015 maybe.
The original, because I remember, because when he came to TIFF and What We Do in the Shadows was out, he was not famous. Yeah, 2014. Because I remember him, Jermaine Clement, and Peter Kaplasky. We were all standing in a hallway talking in between movies during TIFF.
They would never do that now. They would never. No. They would never engage with you.
No one was stopping them. And he was just there. Yeah. Taika Waititi, he got famous because of his shorts that he directed.
Oh, I did not know that.
Because at the Oscars, he tried to get all of the other people that were nominated for short films to do what he did, which is pretend to be asleep when they showed them on camera. And you can see him doing it, but nobody else is.
That's funny. I mean, I think I don't know. People are very down on him these days because he's made some bad movies, and he was in Free Guy, and he was very annoying in that.
He's funny in Free Guy. I like him in Free Guy.
I think he's made some really, really great things over the years. Yeah. So I think he's
gotten too big for his britches. It's the Judd Apatow.
Maybe. I mean, did he do Love and Thunder?
I think it's
he did. He did.
I think it's
terrible.
mainly his comments about effects.
He talked badly about effects.
He was shit talking the effects in like his own movie in one of those like.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, one of those GQ things, and like.
Oh yes, it was
everyone
the
turned against him. They're like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah, well, it was kind of like because his movies feel very half-assed.
Yeah,
which is funny because like Thor Ragnarok doesn't feel half-assed.
No, it feels like it has like
there's decisions and stuff like that. But Love and Thunder feels half-assed.
Yeah, and then when that video came out of him like shit talking the effects artists are like, I've worked with him, he fucking sucks. He can like never, he's like an asshole and he can never make a decision on anything.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's the worst.
Like, is he still doing his one for them, one for me?
I don't know.
Well, he made Next Goal Wins, which sat on a shelf for 3 years because The Cannibal was in it, and then that came out.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Hunt for the Wilder People. That's
and by that I mean Armie Hammer was in it. In case people don't know what The Cannibal is.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, Hunt for the Wilder People is amazing.
Yeah, that's
I love
really
that movie.
good.
Yeah, so I mean, he can still make good movies, but I think you're right that his persona is kind of getting bigger than maybe the man
like,
in the tone.
He's like got this arrogance now, and it's just like,
yeah, I think it's the arrogance.
Well,
that's what people don't like.
The success and the money can change you.
Yeah, maybe.
He is really funny.
You used to be cool, Taika.
He's very funny in that first What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so funny in What We Do. Have you watched the TV show What We Do in the Shadows? It's very funny.
We've only seen a couple episodes here and
Shot
there.
in Toronto, too, even though it's supposed to be
I don't know where it is, but
It's in New York, the island.
Matt Berry is really funny in that
Yeah.
show.
I love Matt Berry. Did you hear that Matt Berry showed up at a screening of
Dark
Garth
Place?
Marenghi.
Dark
Yeah,
Place?
we were there.
He just showed up.
We were
You
there.
were there when
Yeah.
he showed up, and he's like, "Yeah, somebody told me this was happening."
I saw him
and,
I saw him in the lobby, and then I didn't tell you guys because I wanted it to be a surprise. And then he just walks on stage and
And
just
was he like,
talks.
"Hello, April, I'm a big fan"? Did you see him talk, and were you looking around to see if he was dubbed by someone else?
He just talked briefly about the show, and it was a real treat. And that was like sold out screening too.
It was great. The host was like almost hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Like, he was dressed
Was
as
that Brendan Ross?
I don't know, but he was dressed as Garth
It
Marenghi.
might have been. I can't remember. But he's like, "Oh, I recommend you go to Sneaky D's. They're really great. They're down the street." That's a dive bar.
I think
in
somebody,
Toronto.
was like, "We're the best nachos in town," and he was like, "Sneaky D's, man."
Yeah. It was-
I would love if he's like a Gilbert Godfrey like character. He's like, "Oh well, yeah, this is my normal voice. I don't even have an accent."
I mean, he actually did talk a little bit about Toast of London, which was great. Which is
I love Toast of London.
It's great. Yeah, he wasn't like he's very subdued, like in real life.
Oh, yeah, of
like,
course,
he's very
yeah.
like low key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very funny.
He was like Loki. Speaking of Loki, Green Lantern, the
Oh,
movie we're
boy.
supposed to be talking about.
So we've got what
Okay,
happens?
so Ryan Reynolds goes to Lanternville and learns to be a
Okay, yeah,
lantern.
this is when the movie completely loses me. Where I should like this, but like, what is happening?
like on pencil, on pencil,
On
on
paper.
paper. Jesus, if you're writing with
That's
pencil.
a real Justinism.
But it's it all sounds wacky, and I remember the build up to this was like, man, this is going to be the most cosmic of the DC
Oh yeah,
movies and blah blah.
I
blah.
remember the producer being like, "It's taken us an extra year because we need to make up sound effects that have never existed before." It's like, all right, calm down.
You just hear that same like creaky door. But when they go
God,
to
that scream again.
what is it, the homeland or the homeworld of it's Oa or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
And so you're thinking, okay, man, this is going to be this magical world and the sights we've never seen, and is literally it just looks like, and it's the way it's shot too. It's just framed like a Mortal Kombat game. Everything is
We're never gonna leave this one bridge for the entire time that we're
everything
here.
is just floating platforms, and everything is shot in like profile, so it's just like characters facing one another, and it's just like begin fight.
And then he has like a little training montage with Jeffrey Rush Alien and Michael Clark Duncan Alien.
Who
and
does he play as Toma Ray?
can I just say my favorite thing, I guess, is I like Jeffrey Rush Alien. I like the design of that alien. He looks different and weird. He has like a beak, but he's like
he looks like
a
that in the
lizard.
comic.
Yeah.
All of the aliens are pretty accurate to the way they look in the comic book.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little bit not like, practical looking, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but also it was annoying that his character is barely in this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I want him throughout
I'm
the whole
going to do
movie,
the
but-
introduction and then hello, Hal Jordan,
Yeah.
and then you will not see me
Yeah,
again.
and then he shows up at the end very briefly.
Yeah, and that's about it. But like Michael Clark Duncan shows up here as Kilowog. He's like the combat trainer.
Such a great voice.
Another great voice as well.
But then the combat training.
Speaking of people who are not in this movie, like I think he leaves after this scene.
he
and then
shows up
Yeah,
at the
that's
end
it.
too briefly, but
he's
yeah.
like, can I train them or can I train them?
It's like you didn't do anything. You just like hit him with a bunch of light beams and like that's it.
He just kind of beat him up. But yeah, he kind of like learns the powers of the Green Lantern,
And
which
how
is like
he can't have fear.
anything that you can think of, you can manifest with the power ring or whatever, which you have to charge, by the way, like every
Like
night.
a- like-
yeah, you have to
your
charge in the
AirPods.
lantern.
Yeah, so
Well,
he kind of like
that puts limits on it. That's why
Yeah.
they've always done that. Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so what do we think about Mark Strong in this movie?
I like him.
I mean, Mark Strong is one of those guys that always gives a good performance
Yeah.
because, like, who's another person? Is it Keith Carradine? Like, you can't get a bad Keith Carradine performance. No, not Keith Carradine.
What the hell? Like, what do you think about Dave?
I love Keith Carradine.
I think he was pretty good in. Sorry.
Keith David. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Keith David,
okay.
you're
The
absolutely
classic
right.
mistake.
Keith Carradine.
Confusing Keith
David,
Carradine and
sure.
Keith David.
Fucking hell.
My God.
But yeah, Keith David and Mark Strong have those kind of voices.
They do, yeah.
That there's so much presence there and like weight behind
It's like
them.
all they have to do is like speak. And Mark Strong looks absolutely ridiculous. In
He
this
looks
movie.
completely different than he does in real life.
Yeah,
it might be the
he's got the little mustache.
Yeah. It's the
Also, he's pink.
He's got the little pervy mustache.
And I think
He's, like,
they made
pink.
his head bigger.
Much bigger, and he's got like this gigantic forehead again with like this little pointy widow's peak. Like he does look like that in the comics.
Mark Strong is like, do I get a full head of hair because I'm all CGI? It's like, no,
Yeah, we'll
sorry,
see.
Mark.
Well,
Hey, if you piss me off, Mark, you're getting a ball sack head like
Like SARS.
Peter Sarsgaard.
you'll have more hair than you do now.
Sinestro.
Sinestro. Now, Sinestro. I never knew him as a good guy.
No, he's always a villain.
He's always the villain. So the fact that they're trying to pass him off as like the secret villain, or as like a good
in the mid-credit sequence, you're like, not Sinestro.
like
Yeah.
his name is Sinestro. He looks like how he does.
Yeah.
Like he's played by
That reminds
Mark
me of a
Strong.
great line in, is it Bumblebee, where John Cena's like, they're called the Decepticons. Why are we making a deal with them?
Yeah, that's it.
Good joke.
He's got a
It's
point.
true. There you go.
And also, John Cena would like to apologize for calling Taiwan a country.
Can I do this in Mandarin? Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, he's got a great commanding presence. He doesn't believe that Hal Jordan can. He believes like the Ring chose wrong.
You know, a major issue with this film, there is no villain over all of it. Like, Hal Jordan is not fighting anyone.
No.
There is no
It's a
threat.
cloud.
It's just stuff is happening.
It's just Parallax is coming to Earth,
But we don't
you
know
don't
like
know that.
who or what it is. Like there is like there's a
Wait, can you hear
backstory.
Parallax? Oh, there he
There's
is.
Parallax.
Big old poop
There's
cloud.
a backstory where there's these little alien guys with big heads, and they're like the Council of the Lanterns, I guess. And
Yeah.
one of them tried to stop this. No, one of them became Parallax somehow. I can't really remember how.
Yeah, I can't remember, but they like entomb him in like a planetoid.
But yeah,
or-
you're right. The issue is Parallax is not a character. You don't even really know it just says it wants to eat planets, I guess. It definitely wants to destroy Earth for some reason.
they do kind of like cut back and forth between. I think like Mark Strong takes like a team of Lantern Corps out to fight Parallax at one point, and they realize that
Yeah, and they get defeated.
they can't, and then he's like, well, we have to use. He's using their fear against them. It's like, which is kind of it's a cool death. He like kind of
Oh yeah, I
people
liked
are
that.
screaming, and he kind of sucks their skeletons out of their.
Yeah,
their-
don't they turn into skeletons? They like grab
No,
their...
it's like they come. The skeletons come out of their body.
Out of their
yeah,
body.
and then they kind of.
I mean, when you say they use their fear, it makes it sound like Parallax is going to be like, I'm a big clown, woo,
Yeah.
or I'm snakes, and that doesn't really happen.
Not really, no. They just scream and then they turn into these
And
husks
then they turn into
that like,
skeletons.
fall on the ground. But and then he goes back to the council and is like kind of pleading with them, like we have to harness the yellow energy, which is the energy of our enemy.
Yeah, so in the comics, like, yellow is the one thing a Green Lantern can't do anything against, the color yellow.
Right. Okay. So it's like the power of fear or something, and that's what
Yeah,
Parallax is
it's
using.
yellow, because that's what exits your body the second you feel it.
Yeah, exactly. But it kind of turns into like Lord of the Rings here. They have to like forge this ring using like the power of the enemy. Right?
Yep, that's right.
That is right.
Sorry, we all went silent.
No.
Maybe we were too afraid.
April went to the bathroom.
Okay. We said yellow so many times. She's like, oh, that reminds me. So yeah, at this point, Hal Jordan just like from the big fantastical planet, he just goes back to Earth for like a dinner party.
Yeah.
that the like military's having.
Yeah, it's in the like front yard of this aviation company that Blake Lively's father.
Aviation gin.
Yeah, exactly. But it has all the same design. It's like that kind of Art Deco styling and stuff. He's just ripping.
And
ripping
at
off
this
his
point,
own.
you're like, I can't wait for the big action scene involving, they're just a helicopter crashes, and then he makes a Hot Wheel car. Now, is
Racetrack.
this present in the theatrical version? Because it is in the extended
Yes.
one where he visits his nephew. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Where they're sort of just playing. He gives him like a
Oh,
plane
yeah.
or something.
I forgot that was in this movie.
It's
kinda
very
just
brief.
Like, what? Like why his nephew is in one scene, right?
Yeah, it's very brief. So like Peter Sarsgaard, what is like they're celebrating they just landed this huge contract or something like that, a military contract. Tim Robbins is like saying hi, but then like Peter Sarsgaard can kind of like read minds, so he can hear what people are saying about him.
Yeah, his powers are so ill-defined to the point where he can just do anything like towards the end.
Yeah.
But it does like take a toll on his body.
He can like he has telekinesis, doesn't he? Like he throws one of his students in an earlier scene. Or
Yes.
something, and he thinks like, "What a loser!
They deserve it.
I'm not a loser."
He's vindictive.
So like Tim Robbins is taking off in this helicopter, which seems like a terrible idea, by the way, how close this helicopter is taking off next to like hundreds of people in this yard.
Yeah.
Like, this is how bad things happen. And what does he do? And Peter Sarsgaard, like...
That's how you get a real Twilight Zone style
God
situation.
almighty.
Exactly.
Special guest director, John Landis.
Oh, no. What if John Landis showed up in the scene? It's like, we're just making a little joke.
Not a very funny joke. But yeah,
I mean, you're laughing, so it works.
It goes out of control, and it like goes towards Blake Lively.
He shoots like a beer keg or something at him, like a beer tap blows off and hits the helicopter like rotor or something like that.
Yeah,
it's gonna crash again. Terrible idea. And then what does he do? He turns into Green Lantern, and what does he do? It's gonna crash onto the ground, and then he just puts
creates a racetrack.
He turns it into like a Munster mobile, like Hot Wheels.
A Dragula?
Yeah, like a Hot Wheels car.
Yeah.
And then he creates like a...
Wait, is that what you call Hot Wheels cars? Munster mobile?
No, it looks like the Munsters had like a hot rod car. Who was that famous...
Which is not the Dragula. Don't get confused.
Oh, sorry.
Who was that famous artist?
Rob Zombie?
No.
Rob Zombie?
No. Illustrator who would draw those like dragster cars.
Like Ratfink?
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name is. Oh, Big Dad, Ed Big Daddy Roth.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
It looked like one of those cars.
Oh man, I would love if like Ratfink showed up and he's like, and he's driving around.
It seems to be it
happen.
looks like one of those hot rods. It's got like the big kind of engine.
But keep in mind, it's green. Yes. Everything is green. He has green cartoon powers.
So he's like everything that he imagines is something that like a 12-year-old would imagine.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was going to be a version of this that was going to star Jack Black and it was going to be a more comedic version?
Would that be kind of like the Green Hornet with Seth Rogen?
I think it would have probably been more funny. It would have probably made more like butt farting or something like that with the Green Lantern.
He would fart and it would be like a green cloud that comes out of his ass.
Yeah.
That's insane though that they would even be considering someone as a superhero who is not jacked.
Why not?
Jack Blacked.
It's a comedian. I mean, he's jacked. It's right there in the name.
Yeah.
Jack Black.
They could make the costume CG and then make him all ripped.
He has just like a big head on this like tiny body. Anyway, we need to move on. But I need to talk about something in this movie that I haven't mentioned.
Oh, something serious?
Yet.
Oh my God.
I absolutely hate the way this movie looks. It's too dark.
It's
crazy. So contrasty. And no, it was not our television we checked. The blacks are so crushed. I cannot see shit. And it's a very different, I can't see what's going on from movies now, which are, I think of like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, where it's just like gray and dusty and what. This is, there's like too much contrast.
Everything is like key light and there's no fill
anywhere. Every scene, no matter what time of day, there's a huge shadows on half of everybody's face.
And all the interiors are just lit by like one window that's like shining light in, and there's like no shadow detail. It's just all so crushed.
It's just black, and it's very difficult to. And also almost has that Michael Bay saturated look, but like not quite.
Maybe it was the style of the time. But yeah,
well, it sucked.
Horribly ugly.
Couldn't stand it.
So now Sarsgaard's head starts to grow, which is really funny.
Yeah. Until he ends up in a wheelchair.
This had to have been all practical, Justin, don't you think? I mean, not the growing part.
His big head?
Yeah.
It definitely looks like a big giant ball sack
it was CG.
glued to the...
He probably like insisted on this. He's like, bigger.
You can't do the CG.
No, he's like, I want it practical. He seems like the type of guy who would want it like practical.
Yeah, I want to be like the Wolf Man.
Sarsgaard kind of disappeared. He's not really in. He was in a lot for a while, and I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't need any like sweaty freaks to appear in their movies anymore.
No, I think he did a lot of indies. Garden State,
Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah,
I do like him in this movie.
No, I think he's a good actor.
Whenever he screams, it's like a girlish shriek. It's like, like really high pitched.
Love that.
He's giving it his all, man.
And he's the main villain of this film, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, we need to skip ahead to when that shit in the lab is going down, and Amanda Waller brings him in. And he's like, he looks like like, shit. And she's like staring at him.
He's more foam rubber than man.
Yeah. And then
the movie has a really weird ending where it's like Green Lantern and man in wheelchair who can barely move have the big knockdown, drag out fight. And then it's over. And then there's another scene where they go back to another lab and have another big fight.
There's multiple
like,
lab
what?
fight scenes. Like Amanda Waller gets like he like shoves her. Well,
Against
they're
glass.
like,
It's in
don't
this
worry,
scene.
we're going to heal you.
Yeah, they want to like experiment on him.
Tim Robbins is like, son.
yeah, it'll be okay.
I just want to help you.
So he's using.
But then I get my favorite scene,
Yeah.
which is Tim Robbins being lit on fire with flamethrowers, and he's like, "Ah!"
he like traps Tim Robbins in like an office and then uses these two robotic arms to shoot like flames at him.
Yeah.
And then him and
And I don't think there is a zoom into his face, but it feels like there
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And then he like bursts into flames.
there's a lot of people in this movie die in like really bad CG explosions and fire, just like the dad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he throws Amanda Waller like up high against like a piece of a plate glass.
Yeah.
And
But she
so
just falls. You don't see her die, but she does fall quite away.
Okay, so maybe she lived and she would later form the Suicide
She
Squad.
had reconstructive surgery to look like.
Viola
I can
Davis.
guarantee
Viola
you,
Davis.
you will see Mr. Green Lantern show up in Deadpool 3 to be killed.
Oh, I bet you.
Well, I mean, yeah. But how are they allowed to do that? Because
It'll be a parody because they did it in
I know they
Deadpool
did it.
2,
They did-
remember?
I didn't see Deadpool 2, but I heard
Oh.
about
How
it.
do those epic
Deadpool
movies
kills
go?
Ryan Reynolds, who's reading the script of Green Lantern.
Right.
I like how he says
Yeah.
in the first Deadpool, he's like, "Oh, we're going to give you an outfit or a uniform." And he's like, "But don't make it animated or CGI." And then it's like the Deadpool mask is like CGI.
It is CGI.
and animated.
Yeah, that's the problem with this movie. That mask.
Yeah,
Not the structure, the lack of villain, an annoying hero, no
I
action.
mean, it is funny.
Definitely the
He shows
CGI
up
mask.
to Blake Lively's after he saves her, and he's like kind of doing a voice, and it takes her a second, and she's like, "How?" But it's like, is she joking? Because she's like, "Of course it's you. You've covered 5%
she's joking.
of your
She's
face."
like, "I know who you
Or no,
are."
she's like,
Yeah.
"You covered your cheekbones."
the worst part is, and then
kinda
his like
funny.
eyes go white when he has the mask on. The mask does not look like it's there on him. And then his feet. This might be
feet.
the worst. If you look up the Green Lantern costume feet, he has like toes. It's like he's wearing those like Vibram like 5 fingers.
Those shoes
run-
that have toes.
Those running
He
shoes.
has toes on his
He
shoes.
does, yeah. You look it up. Just Google it. It's
never
really
noticed.
funny. Yeah, it's just so off-putting. Yeah, it's gross. And then he him and Peter Sarsgaard have a fight.
And he gives him his ring, which is kind of a good idea, I
He
guess.
does
'cause
he
he's
does him
like,
like a
you
trickaroo."
could be a lantern. Basically, he was like, "Don't you want to not be ugly?" That was what was not said, but
You
it's clearly
freak.
said.
Yeah, he's like, once you're a Green Lantern, Blake Lively's going to be all over you.
And she's gonna get to choose. Don't you want to know what would happen?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then he tries to use the ring, and it's like, haha, you have to be a lantern. You have to be chosen to use the ring. And it backfires on him.
I'm chosen. I am one of God's people, not you, Uggo. Peter Sarsgaard in a wheelchair with your big ball sack head.
And then
Exactly.
Parallax shows up and sucks Peter Sarsgaard's skeleton, deformed skeleton, out of his body.
and he's just attacking like
And that's
the
it.
world, and Ryan Reynolds manages to stop him somehow, and then they go to space.
Yeah, he fights him on Earth, and he's conjuring all these like.
When this movie was coming out, they put the entire climax as a clip for the movie you could watch online.
Whoa, they were that desperate.
And I remember watching this and going, wait a minute. This is... They didn't show the climax, did they? And they did.
They did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
But
and
what
it's
does
just-
he create on Earth? I
just
can't
like a
I can't even
catapult.
remember.
It's all
oh
these
right, a
goofy-
catapult.
A catapult. And then
And
he
like
has
maybe like rockets or something.
and he has like a big Gatling gun he's shooting at him or something. And then like fighter jets and rockets.
the thing is, how do you shoot a cloud?
I don't know.
He had a much better idea, taking him up to space and leading him towards the sun. To which I say, why didn't that burn up Ryan Reynolds? I guess he just has special lantern power.
It's implied that like he the bigger it is, the more the gravitational pull of the sun will pull you in.
Okay,
sure, whatever. But then he also conjures like rockets and fighter jets that are pulling him away.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so vague, like what hurts Parallax? I don't know.
Yeah,
really.
and then like his space cop friends show up, the other Lanterns, and they're like, we did absolutely nothing, but good job. We're clearly a team.
Sinestro saves him and he's like, good job, human. And then we get this big ending where Sinestro's, it's like the hip hip hooray. Like, he's talking to all the space cop people.
Yeah.
Some of the designs are really funny, actually. There's like jellyfish and like kind of stick insect ones.
Like,
and
yeah,
stuff.
that was funny.
I appreciate that. It's just all framed so blandly and like it's all flat. And
well, it all looks like a screensaver background, unfortunately.
It looks like
That's exactly what it looks like, a Windows 95 screensaver.
Yeah, it doesn't feel lived in.
No, I would say, it's just like a Mortal Kombat background.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat too.
Yeah, you can see that. Good. So yeah, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's great. And then we get this stinger halfway through the credits. That's Sinestro putting on the yellow ring.
So it was established earlier.
They forged it.
They forged it from the Parallax
power. Yeah.
It's I wonder what's going to happen.
The only way we can fight him.
Well, you're never going to find out. I
mean, of course, they were, even back then, doing the thing where we can't just have a movie about the villain you all know, right? We have to make it a lesser villain and then come back to the theater for the real villain. But
it's like they kill off Hector Hammond, Parallax, and now they're only left with Sinestro. So, whatever.
Well, Parallax, as a poop cloud, did infect Hal Jordan in the comics, where then he completely destroyed a city.
Oh.
How did he live with himself?
See that?
They kind of killed him off because they wanted to replace him with a new Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner. And then Hal Jordan for a while was the Spectre. I don't think that character's appeared anywhere in live action. Who's kind of like a supernatural judgment character. And now he's back. He's Green Lantern again.
Oh, God.
Did you guys say what you liked about this movie?
Yeah, Tim Robbins blowing up. I don't think Colin did.
No. And I'm going to say the biggest laugh for me was like the flashback to his dad taking off.
Yeah.
And giving the thumbs up as his plane blows up.
And exploding.
And like the cheesiest looking like CG flames.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Okay, that's the movie. That's okay.
Leave that silent where we just thinking about the choices we've made in this life.
All right, maybe this wasn't the greatest pick, but I had always wanted to see it, and I finally did.
And now you can finally go off this mortal coil knowing you've seen Green Lantern.
It's one of those things where it's like, I didn't hate it. It's just I can't even muster the energy to hate it because it didn't like conjure any, like, I keep saying conjure. Like it didn't elicit any feelings in me that were anything other than just like,
Yeah, it's a little meh. So I honestly cannot recommend it, but it's not just like completely worthless.
I like how you say it as if you're like, honestly, I can't recommend it.
I know you guys really care about whether I recommend something. I mean, I will say, like, scan through and watch like Peter Sarsgaard scenes because they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is a flatline, unfortunately. And
but you know what? He's back to life in stuff like Red Notice and I'm looking here. Where are his most popular movies? Bullet Train. What?
Oh God, he was in Bullet Train.
Yeah, The Proposal. Do you like that one, April?
Haven't seen it. So if you want to email the pod. Oh, by the way, this movie is available on Crave and in Canada. If you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at nosuchthingpod. And consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. Bonus episode every 2 weeks, plus a ton of other content. And the next week's episode is about the Nick Cage movie Dream Scenario, or is it Scenario? Tune in to find out.
Sicario.
And if you want to email me or find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April@Mansky.
You can find me on Twitter at Justin DeClue, also on Letterboxd under that name, and every week on the Very Fine Comic Book Podcast, where Mike Wood go through comic books every week to introduce you to it. So check it out.
Oh, and you can find me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Let's hold off on the superhero movies for a while.
Yeah, next Ryan Reynolds film we should watch is Big Monster on Campus, where it looks like he plays a Frankenstein monster of some kind.
Oh my God. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So see you soon. I'm April Mansky.
I'm Justin DeClue.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
And we'll be back for Red Notice 2 and 3, according to Letterboxd.
Oh my God.